When price volatility increases at a diminishing rate as maturity increases. Okay. Now, another concept we need to understand, bond duration. Duration, we all know. What does duration mean? As a word, what does duration mean? Duration.
The length, the time period.
Time period.
Time of
Time taken.
And what relation will duration have to returns? Like if you compare duration with risk,
Longer period, more interest.
yeah, longer period, more interest, and longer period, more risk as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? When we are looking at duration, just give me a minute. Okay, sorry for that. So bond duration, measurement of how long in years it will take the price of the bond to be repaid by its internal cash flows. So duration measures the weighted average time until the payment of the bond cash flows, right? So we know that we get an interest rate, interest or coupon on the bond. So how long will it take to get the entire money back? So it's similar to your your payback period. If you remember, we've seen the payback period, how long it will take us to get the investment back, and it is measured obviously in years. And obviously, if what will happen to the duration if interest rate rise? If interest rate rise, what will happen to the duration? Will it increase or will it decrease? So to define, duration is the time period needed to get your money back. So what will be the relationship between duration and interest rates? If interest rates are high, duration will be high or low?
Ma'am, longer the duration, longer will be, higher will be the interest rates.
Why? If the interest rates is high, will it take more time or less time for payment? It will be inverse, no? If the interest rate, so for example, you are investing 100 rupees.
Ma'am, I have one doubt. So duration is something which will be constant, right?
It can be constant if the interest rates are constant. If the interest rate is constant, duration will be constant. If the interest paid on that particular instrument increases, duration will decrease, no? So let me give you an example. So 100 rupees, okay? How many years it will take you, just for calculation, I'm saying, how many years it will take you to get that 100 rupees back if the interest rate is 10%? Simple calculation. Interest rate is 10%, 100 rupees, how much time it is going to take you to get it back?
10 years.
10 years, right? 10 years. Now, if the interest rate is 5%, how much time it's going to take you?
20 years.
20 years. Yeah, 20 years. So duration and interest rates have inverse relation. Higher the interest rate, lower will be the duration. Lower the interest rates, higher would be the duration. So duration is not the time period for that particular instrument. It's a time calculation of how long it's going to take you to get that money back. That is what is duration. So as a general rule, for every 1% increase or decrease in interest rate, a bond price will change approximately 1% in opposite direction for every year of duration. So more the duration, we have seen this, more the duration, more the time period, the change in the price will be more. Modified duration express the measurable change in the value of a security in response to change in interest rate. So we have seen in case the interest rate change, so you lend that money for 10 years, at 10%. So your duration was 10 years. But in case the interest rates fall, you will have a longer duration. That is a modified duration. Now 10 years was your actual duration. Modified duration would be 20 years. So modified duration is used to determine the effect that a 1% change in interest rate will have on the price of the bond. So higher the modified duration, higher would be the change. Change in price of bond is equal to modified duration into change of yield. It is negative because we have seen that duration and interest rates have a inverse relationship. Then weighted average maturity of a bond. Maturity is when you will get the money back. Now, average maturity tells you the average age of debt securities in fund portfolio and is used to determine its sensitivity to interest rate change. So we have seen longer the maturity, longer would be the, more would be the change. Right? Then, here we are looking at a fund, a portfolio. Portfolio means it is a collection of securities. It's not one or two securities. It's not only one security. It is more than one security. It's a collection of securities, and how the change in the interest rate is going to affect the average maturity. So we are not taking maturity of one instrument. We are taking maturity of several instruments. This concept probably you'll understand, or it's more relevant when we are looking at mutual fund, because it is a collection of securities. It's not one security. Average maturity does not indicate the life of the fund, since the change in interest rate will impact differently maturity. This we have seen. So longer the maturity, longer is the change that we have seen. If the interest rate change, longer the maturity, higher would be the change. So long-term debt securities generally fluctuates more than that of short-term securities when interest rate changes, that we have seen. So, average maturity when we are talking, that would mean that we have more than one security, and usually we'll have it in a mutual fund. So I'll probably introduce the concept of mutual funds to you today, and we will understand it over a period of time, but little later. So mutual funds with several long maturity papers in their portfolio are more sensitive to NAV fluctuation. I know, there are many words which you might not understand. First is the mutual fund, for example, NAV, portfolio. So let me explain to this then, So to begin with mutual fund, mutual funds means mutual, if you see, it's belonging to all. Samuhik, mutual ka matlab hota hai sabka, right? So when you have to invest, you can invest in two ways. One, if you understand investments, you can go and buy your investment yourself, right? So that is one type of investment. Second is when you don't understand the investments. Now there are people who know the financial markets well, and they know where to invest. So one way of investing is like, rather than taking the trouble of all, we've seen that when we have to buy stocks, when we have to buy fixed income instruments, so we have to do some analysis. So आप ऐसे ही नहीं ले सकते हैं अगर आपको कोई शेयर लेना है या कोई बॉन्ड लेना है तो आपको एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा। वही हम देख रहे हैं, फिक्स्ड इनकम लेना है तो क्या क्या एनालिसिस करना है, इक्विटी लेना है तो क्या क्या एनालिसिस करना है, तो ये सब करना है। अगर वो हमको नहीं आता तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं, हम क्या कर सकते हैं, वी कैन हायर वन पर्सन to do the investment for us. Now, obviously, if this person is very knowledgeable, very qualified, so his fees is also very high. So probably most of us will not be able to afford one single person to do it for us. So what they do is there is a business opportunity. Now, what these people do is they call money from various people. तो ये लोग क्या करते हैं, ये जो फंड मैनेजर्स होते हैं वो लोगों से बोलते हैं कि पैसा जमा करो, आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट मैं करूंगा. दैट इज व्हाट म्यूचुअल फंड इज. सो इन अ म्यूचुअल फंड people pool in their money with a fund manager for investment. Okay, तो fund manager के पास भी asset classes तो वही है. The fund manager also has the same asset classes. He has equity asset class, he has fixed income instrument asset classes. So he also invests based on the objective of that fund. So a mutual fund which is invested primarily in fixed income, and it has several long maturity period, like all the fixed income instruments which they have bought are long duration, then obviously their price will fluctuate more. We have seen longer the duration, longer is the fluctuation in the price. So that is what it means. Portfolio is a collection of securities. NAV stands for net asset value. In a mutual fund, many investors have invested. Now, how do you figure out what is each person's contribution? That is done by the NAV. We will understand NAV in much more detail when we look at mutual funds. But as of now, NAV is the present price of that security. So a gilt fund, gilt, as we've seen, gilt is, anybody remembers gilt?
Government securities.
Government securities, correct. So gilt funds usually have relatively higher average maturity. They are most volatile among all debt. So government raises funds for shorter period also, but it raises funds for longer period, as long as 20 years. So since higher risk also means higher returns, gilt funds are capable of delivering higher returns than cash funds. Yield curve, if you remember when we were looking at equity, we had plotted the price movement, and then we got certain graphs and we did some analysis. In a similar way, to analyze the interest rate movement or the return, you have the yield curve for your fixed income security. Now, in fixed income, the credit quality also matters. What is credit quality? And how is it related to the interest rate? Credit quality, what do you understand by credit quality and its relationship with the interest rates? What is credit quality?
Ma'am, are you talking about the credit worthiness?
Yeah, credit quality means credit worthiness. And how is it related with interest rates? What is the relationship between credit quality and interest rates? Is there any relationship or not?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the relationship?
Ma'am, you will, if you have a good credit worthiness, I mean, you will be able to get loans. I'm just talking from the general perspective. You will be
Okay.
able to secure loans or get loans at attractive interest at rates
At
what
a
you
lower
prefer.
interest rate.
Yeah.
Credit quality is inversely proportional to interest rates because credit quality is uh, inversely proportional to risk. Higher the credit quality, lower the risk. So lower the risk, that means lower the interest rates, right? So here, when we are comparing the returns, we also have to look at the credit quality, because the interest rates will vary due to the credit quality. If the credit quality is good, the interest rates will be lower, and if the credit quality is not that good, the interest rate will be higher. And that's what we saw yesterday when we were looking at junk bonds. Junk bonds pay a very high interest rate because of the risk involved, right? So here if we are plotting, we will have to look at interest rates of similar credit quality. So yield curve is a line that plots the interest rate at set period of point of time on bonds having equal credit quality but different maturity date. And it is used as a benchmark for other debt in the market. So to know whether the debt interest rates you're getting on your debt is good or bad, you can compare it with the benchmark. Then the shape of the yield curve gives you an idea of future interest rate changes and economic activity. So these are the three types of interest rates. The normal yield curve, the inverted yield curve, and the flat yield curve. So inverted, so normal yield curve is one in which longer maturity bonds have higher yield compared to shorter term bonds due to risk associated with time. So we know that this is normal. We have seen the higher the duration of the bond, higher would be the interest rates because the risk is high. So this is a normal thing. Your interest rate increase with the duration. Inverted, your shorter term yield and higher than longer term yields will, which is a sign of liquidity problem. So shorter yield are giving you more returns than longer term. That means people need money in the shorter term. That means if they need money in the shorter term, they don't have money. That means there's a liquidity problem here. So inverted yield curve is a sign of liquidity problem. Flat is the interest rates are not changing. So that means that you are in a stagnant economy where nothing is happening. So shorter and longer term yields, a flat curve. So this is, I hope you understand, this is the yield, this is the maturity. So ideally, the higher the maturity, higher would be your yield. So this is normal. If you are getting more yield for a shorter maturity, so here the maturity is shorter, you're getting more yield on for shorter. That means there's a liquidity problem. Here it remains flat. The interest rates probably are not changing too much. So it would mean there's a economic transition. Now, bonds are also bought and sold, that we've seen. Bonds also have a secondary market. Just like your shares, bonds also have a secondary market. So you can have two kind of strategies: passive, active. Passive, active are English terms. We all know the meaning. Active means when there is a lot of work or there's a lot of activity. Passive is like cool, doing nothing. So bond managers can have nothing good or bad. It is a kind of strategy. So the good thing about active is that you're active. So you might get better return, but it also means more risk because you're buying and selling your securities very often. So it can also mean more risk. Passive is the fund manager decides a strategy and keeps on working on that strategy consistently without changing it too much. It's not that passive fund manager just, sits in one place and relaxes. No, it's not the case. The thing is that the passive manager decides a strategy and works on that strategy over a consistent period. Whereas active fund manager keeps on looking at the changes in the market and keeps on working on that. So you can have a passive portfolio strategy, active management strategy. Passive is more stable and less risky. Active is more risky. So there are chances that you might get better returns in active because the risk taken is high. Passive will give you more consistent return. So has a fixed source of income in terms of coupon, needs to be actively forecast future interest rate. Here, active management, matching performance of a selected bond instead, buy and hold investment strategies not used. So you buy and sell rather than buy and hold. So I can understand, these things might be a little difficult for you to understand. But when we look at mutual funds, when we understand mutual funds, you will understand them better. When you understand the working of a mutual fund, the role of a fund manager, you'll understand it better. So using bond to invest for total return or a combination of capital appreciation and income requires a more active trading strategy and view on the direction of the economy and interest rates. If you, when the price is increasing, what does it mean? When the price is increasing, what is the status on the interest rates? When will the price increase? When interest rate will rise or when interest rates will fall?
Fall.
When the interest rates are
Fall.
falling, right? Correct. So when the interest rates are falling, it's better to buy because they will keep on falling. So you buy the fixed income instrument at a higher interest rate because the interest rates are falling. And when the bond prices are decreasing, that means the interest rates are rising. So it's better to sell because you can buy another instrument at higher interest rate. So that is the So we remember what are callable securities. Yesterday also we have done what are callable securities. Callable bonds. What are callable bonds?
The buyer will redeem the bond.
Yeah, callable bonds gives a right to the issuer to redeem the bond. Not the buyer, the issuer, the seller. Okay.
Ma'am, so under puttable bonds, it's investor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Puttable
Correct.
bond, it's an investor.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So investor can put it for, so you just remember it like this. When a security is issued, where the security will be? Where will be the security? If a security is issued, a company issues a security.
In stock market.
It will not be in the stock market. It will be with the investor, no? You go and buy a share, the share will be with you.
The holder of
Right.
the security.
Yeah, holder of the security. Now, if the issuer wants it, he will call for it, no? It is the security is not with him. He will call for it. Right? So it's callable. And if I have the security, I can put it up for redemption. Just do this, just do the action of calling and putting. So you will understand. Call when I don't have the security, I will call. That means I'm the issuer. I want to redeem it first. And put, if I am the investor, I have the security, I can put it for redemption. So put is the option with the investor. Call is the option with the issuer. Okay. So many investors use callable securities, which is within a total return strategy, as opposed to a buy and hold strategy focused on income and preservation of principal. So callable securities, that the issuer will have the right to call it and redeem. So rather than being, invested in the security for a longer time, some investors will prefer callable bond where they can redeem it earlier than required. Okay. So callable option will only be exercised. When will the callable option be exercised? In case of increase in interest rates or in case of decrease in interest rates? When will the company when the company will use sense for the company to call.
Ma'am, if the interest rates are decreased, the company will
Correct, correct. So when the interest rates have decreased, it makes sense for the company to repay the existing loan, which is at a higher rate, and then issue another one, which is at a lower rate, right? So callable bonds make more sense when the interest rates have decreased, and putable when the interest rates have increased. Now, securitization. We've seen this earlier as well. Securitization would mean to convert your debt into marketable security. So we had seen, I don't know how many of you remember, but we had seen asset-based security. Anybody remembers asset-based securities? We had seen it earlier in
Asset-based securitization.
yes. What does it mean?
Ma'am, transferring the illiquid securities to a tradable securities.
Correct. Yeah. So the best example is a bank. Bank borrows with the for the purpose of lending. So bank takes deposit and then lends it. Now when the bank lends it, bank is left with no money. So to generate liquidity, what the bank does it? Bank, moves, securitizes this debt to somebody else. Now that person is also willing, because he does not have an opportunity to lend. Bank has already lent, and he can participate in this by securitizing it. And he is willing to do it because the principal payment for the bank is fixed through the EMIs, right? So this loan will be repaid by the EMIs which the customer pay to the bank. So two types of securitization. One is asset backed. Actually, both are the same, but because the volumes of mortgage. So remember what is mortgage? Mortgage क्या है? Mortgage.
Ma'am,
Collateral.
mortgaging the house, ma'am.
Yeah. So mortgage is a contract which gives the right to the bank to sell a fixed asset if the
If they are unable
loan
to
is not paid. Yeah. So
Yeah,
mortgage
if
is
they are-
specifically for immovable property. So securitization is the process of taking an illiquid asset or group of asset and through financial engineering transforming them into a tradable security. So when the bank has lent, it is illiquid asset for them, because for example, home loan, the bank is going to get the money over a period of 10 years, 15 years, and some cases 20 years. So it is illiquid. That means it's not very easy to convert into cash. So in that case, the bank can securitize it into tradable security to generate liquidity. So you can go through the chart given here.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, one doubt, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, asset securitization is basically done to prevent the banks going bankrupt. Is that one of the reason?
No, it has nothing to do with the bank going bankrupt or not going bankrupt. It is more about liquidity.
Okay.
So these, if you look at, most of them are secured, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Home loans definitely they are secured, ma'am.
Yeah, this is against, these are known as asset securitization, you know, backed security. So these are not usually not unsecured loan. These are secured loans. It can be auto loan. It can be your consumer durable loan. It can be your obviously mortgages. So this is
Home
against,
loans.
yeah, these are against secured loan. That's why they're known as asset backed securitization. No, asset backed security. So there is an asset backing it. So these are secured.
There will be an underlying asset.
Yes, there will be an underlying asset. So the objective is not preventing the bank's bankruptcy. It has nothing to do with that. It is more about creating liquidity. Because when the bank gets its money back, it will be able to lend more. Right? So securitization is the process of taking an illiquid asset or group of asset and through financial engineering, transforming them into a tradable security.
Ma'am, maintaining the liquidity flow of the
Correct.
bank.
Correct. Because if you know, it's very simple. If you look at the bank accepts deposit, keeps something in SLR, keeps something in CRR, and whatever is left, it lends. Right? That is the basic business of the bank. Right? Now, bank is left with no money.
Mhm. Yes,
Okay. So for creation of liquidity, they do it.
because it will take, say for example, if it is like home loan, it will take a lot of time for them to
Yeah, correct.
recover the amount.
Correct. It'll take a lot of time. And there is some amount of risk as well.
Yeah.
So the bank is getting that money from the special purpose vehicle or the issuing agent, and then the issuing agent keeps on collecting it.
Okay.
So there are underlying assets. These are collaterals. Asset immune from bankruptcy of the seller. So yeah. So again, your point that the bank, it has nothing to do with bank going bankrupt. It is more to do with liquidity. Originator retain no legal interest in the asset. Transfer of asset from originator to the issuing vehicle. Then the special purpose vehicle issues debt securities to investors and typically structured into various classes rated by one of the more rating agencies. And then this is traded in the capital market, investors, capital market. So asset-based security, mortgage-based security is a typical example of securitization. These are backed by the security of a house. So if you remember, we had done one small exercise about the crisis of 2008. Anybody remembers 2008 financial crisis? Do you remember? We had done one, in the initial stages, we had done one exercise about the crisis of 2008, the financial crisis of 2008. Okay, if you don't remember, please go and see it today. So write it down. This is your homework as well.
Ma'am, the
Okay.
crisis in 2008. Ma'am, it was
Recession.
Yes,
Recession in
recession.
America.
Yeah.
America.
America.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So if you remember, that crisis was because of the asset-based securities, the mortgage-based security. You can read it today.
Ma'am, so after that only they introduce special purpose vehicle. It means
No. It was because it was existing then, but the problem happened was they were asset, the um, price of the security decreased. So, when the demand increases, the price increases. So, for example, the house was, say, $10,000. The demand became high. So, the price of that particular house became 15,000. So, the loan was given for 15,000, for example. And when the crisis started, the price of the property also started falling down. And now, instead of 15,000, it was worth only 7,000. So, there's a loss to the bank, no? So special purpose vehicle was always there, but people have become more careful about giving the loan now. So mortgage, okay, to understand it better, I would want to all of you to go and read on the financial crisis, the Lehman Brothers financial crisis of 2008. You'll understand mortgage, the working of mortgage-based security. So mortgage-based backed security is a typical example of securitization. Alternate investment, liquid investment avenue, giving an exposure, raise capital and enable them to issue loans in the market. Mortgage-based are the same or as asset-based. So if you look at this person, so mortgage-based securities are a form of debt investment where the principal and interest payment are backed by a pool of mortgage. So bank A has given to loan to individual B. Individual B has to return this to A. Okay. But A converts it, bank A converts, transfer it to third party to get liquidity. And the third party makes marketable securities out of this and sells it. And he keeps on getting the interest payments from the individual. So individual will not know, this will happen through the bank only, but the bank creates liquidity by marking the interest payments in favor of the third party, in the person who is paying, who is buying these mortgage-based securities. Then there would be a haircut. Haircut or cut is the difference between market value and the purchase price of the security. You need collateral. Any asset is needed to hedge the default risk or protect from the default risk. We all understand default risk and credit risk by now. It's one and the same. Default risk is when if somebody fails to pay the interest or the principal or default on the payment, that's a default risk. And it is usually seen as hedging the risk on the collateral. Now, what is the advantage of the mortgage-based security? High credit quality. Why do you think the credit quality is high here? Why will be the credit quality high?
Ma'am, if the borrower is able to pay the amount in the prescribed time, something like that.
Yeah, but why do you think you're not going to suffer a loss in a mortgage-based security?
Because you have a backup, right?
Correct. You have this is asset-based. Huh?
It is a secured loan.
Yeah, it's a secured loan. Correct.
Yeah. So in case if you're not able to repay the loan, you can sell that and you can recover your loss.
Correct. So it is high quality, high credit quality. They offer attractive yield. You have diversity and investment diversification. Diversification we have seen is a part of part of your portfolio management, because if you don't diversify, your risk is increased. So they also offer an avenue for diversification and therefore reduced event risk. Asset-based securities are similar, or rather mortgage-backed securities are also asset-based security, but in mortgage-based security, the asset is your immovable property. Asset-based securities can have some other assets. So asset-based consists of receivables such as mortgage loan, credit card, auto loans, manufactured housing contracts, and home equity loan. So similar, a financial security backed by a loan, lease or receivable against assets other than real estate and mortgage-based securities. So financial institutions or originate the loans, then convert into market securities, marketable securities for liquidity. So financial institutions sell pools of loans to a specific purpose vehicle whose sole function is to buy such assets in order to securitize them. The securities which are sold to investors by investment banks that underwrite them are credit enhanced with one or more form of extra protection, whether internal or external or both.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes, infant.
ma'am, one doubt. Ma'am, special purpose vehicle is a separate entity, right?
Correct, correct.
Ma'am, I have heard that it will not appear whatever loan the bank is providing to special purpose vehicle, it will not appear in the balance sheet of the bank. Why is it so, ma'am?
So it is not a kind of loan here. If you look
I
at
mean,
the bank
whatever
is, yeah,
it is transferring to special purpose vehicle,
yes,
I've heard it will not appear in the balance sheet of the bank.
because your so in the balance sheet you show the assets and liabilities, no?
Hmm.
So actually, if you look at your assets are not affected.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why probably. So I have not read about it. Probably I'll read it and discuss it later sometime. But
Yes.
from what you're telling me, the only thing I can think is like they are if they these no new assets are created.
Okay.
No new assets are created. The bank is only transferring the existing assets to the special purpose vehicle.
Okay, ma'am.
So probably that could be the reason. However, let me read it up or read it on it, and then maybe we will discuss it further. But prima facie, this is what I think, because the
Yeah.
assets will remain the same.
Okay, ma'am.
Fine. So the difference between asset-based and mortgage-based, probably you would have understood. Asset-based can be any kind of asset. Mortgage-based is necessarily immovable property or real estate. So, and obviously your mortgage base will be for higher duration, because the home loans and the house these kind of loans are also for higher duration. So the duration of mortgage based security is 15 years. Asset based security would be 5 years. The securities here are mortgage papers, house paper, land and property paper, because mortgage based security is necessarily for home loans. Here you will have other securities like share certificate, auto or vehicle papers. So yeah, this is what I was telling you. Lehman collapse, send shockwave downward. So it was based on mortgage-based securities. So this is what I was trying to explain. House prices in United States have been steadily rising. People will buying more and more houses. So when the demand increases, the price also increases. So based on the price at that point in time, the bank had given a loan. However, when the crisis happened, the prices started falling, and therefore the bank were, though it was secured loan, the bank was not able to recover the money. So house prices in states have been steadily rising, taking the unsettled tranches of lots to mortgage-based securities, repackaging of the mortgage-based security and selling as a new product. But that did not return the bank the money, and Lehman Brothers collapsed, and which gave to another kind of financial instrument, collateralized debt obligation. So if you look at the housing prices had touched the all-time high, and then they went down, and the bank was not able to recover the money which they had lent. So we don't need to go too much into detail. This is more about security market and more relevant to investment banks. For commercial banks, if you're working in commercial banks, probably you will not need it, but just a way to understand different kind of financial instruments which exist in the market in today's time. Okay, so that is about fixed income instruments. So today we had to do aptitude, but I'm not sure. Have we done pipes and cisterns? I think we have, no? Hello. In aptitude,
Which one, ma'am?
pipe and cisterns. We have done work and time.
Yes, ma'am.
We have done work and time. Have we done pipe and cisterns as well?
Yes, ma'am. Time and distance only, no, ma'am.
Time and distance we have done. Pipe and cisterns we have not done. Work and time.
Work on time we have done, ma'am. Time work.
Done, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Pipe and system is completed.
It's completed, no? Yeah. So just give me a moment. I'll see if I have something else. Otherwise, we'll start with mutual funds and maybe we'll do aptitude some other day. Just give me a moment. Just let me check.
Ma'am, can you explain the bond theorem once again?
Okay. So, the thing which you have to keep in mind as per bond theorem, first is that the price and the interest rates move inversely, right?
Yes.
That we have seen. The price, the interest, if the interest rates increases, the bond prices will fall. And if the bond prices, if the interest rates decrease, the bond prices will rise. So that is the first theorem. The other theorem is that the higher the duration, the more would be the change in the price, right? The more is the time period for redemption of your bond, the more would be the change in the price.
Okay.
Right? And
Ma'am, price here you're talking about the
the
return.
change in the market price.
Okay.
So we have
market
seen,
price.
if there is 1% decrease in the interest rates, the price
Yeah.
will not change by 1%. It will change by more.
Okay.
And if the duration is more, then the price will it will keep on increasing. If the price so if the interest rates rise by 1%, the price will change by more than 1%. So bond theorems are basically about the valuation of the bond.
Okay.
So the coupon rate has a relation, the maturity date has a relation, and the current price also have a relation. So bond theory talks about valuation of the bonds with the change in the interest rates. That's what the bond theorem talks about. So the higher the interest rates, higher would be the change. Higher the duration, higher would be the change. That is what it talks
Okay. So higher the interest rate, there will be a
about. Higher change, yeah.
higher change in the market price of the bond.
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah, so let me first look at if we can do aptitude or should we continue with so I was thinking of doing pipe and cisterns. If we have done pipe and cisterns, and have we done mixture and irrigation also we have done, have we?
Yes, ma'am, we have done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let us do then directions maybe. Just give me a moment. Relations have we done? Have we done relations?
Yes, ma'am.
Relations also we have done, then probably. mm, ratio and proportions, have we done ratio and proportions?
Yes, ma'am.
Ratio and proportions also we have done. Then what is left for you guys? Percentage, though we have definitely done. Number system we have done. Mixtures we have done. Just let me see what else is remaining. Just give me a moment. So number system we have done. Ratio and proportions we have done. Time, speed, distance we have done. Time and work we have done. Pipe system we have done. Profit loss, discount percentage. Have we done that? Hello. Profit loss, discount.
No, ma'am. We
Yes,
haven't
it
done.
has to be done. Okay. So just give me a moment. I think we've done no profit loss, not done.
Ma'am, in my batch, we have completed. Weekend batch.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so just let me see, I'll just share the numericals with you. Just tell me if you have done it. then we will not do it and we'll do something else. But if you've not, we can do this. So have we done sums like this?
Yes, ma'am.
We've done it, no? So we have done, then the profit loss also we have done. 1 minute. So do you think we've done everything or something is remaining? I think we have not done this one, no? See? This one? Profit and loss. Let's have 16 somewhere. Percentage, I know we have done. One minute, let me check. Okay, so we've done profit and loss. Okay. Direction senses. Directions, have we done directions? Coding, decoding, have we done coding, decoding?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Coding, decoding also we have done. Direction senses, I think direction senses we have not done.
Direction, no, ma'am. Done.
You remember? I don't think we have done direction senses, no?
Ma'am, no, ma'am. Direction not done.
Okay. So probably we'll do direction sense there. Just give me a moment, I'll share it with you. Okay, so so in the meantime, I'm getting it. So we are at 11:15. Let us take a break till 11:30, and 11:30 when you come back from 11:30 to 1 for 1.5 hours, we will do our aptitude. Okay, so you can log off for 15 minutes and get back so that we will do it. Okay, so we'll start with aptitude in 15 minutes. So 11:50 we'll get back.
11:30.
Yeah, 11:30, right, in fact.